Hello, hello. Welcome back to the next episode of Breath of Life Conversations. Today I felt like talking about something that I is has become very near and dear to my heart, and I'm going to be very honest that this has always been something that has been near and dear to my heart, but I really feel like now is the time for this conversation to be had everywhere, everywhere. And it's still not being had. So let me be the first to have this conversation. And the topic is this, that modern medicine, or let me be even clearer or more specific. The healthcare system is incredibly detrimental. And it is not meant to help you to heal. And that there is a reason, and one that you may not think, for why medical intuition is so necessary. And so let's start with the first point, which is that modern medical care, healthcare, however you want to say it, is incredibly detrimental. I think a lot of us are going to be able to say, yep, I agree with that. I completely and 100% agree with you, Abigail. So what are you telling me that's not new? Um, well, I want people to understand it from this space because I think a lot of people have it misconstrued. I think a lot of people believe that only now, within the last, let's be generous and say last 100 years, modern medicine has been detrimental for us, but I think that they believe that sometime before that, it was meant to be helpful. And I want to be very clear. And this may be a very unpopular opinion, but I have it anyway. I have this unpopular opinion anyway. And that is that the medical system is working exactly the way that it was designed to work. Let me repeat that. The modern medical or medical care, health care is working exactly the way that it was designed to work. Meaning that it is and always has been a machine that is about keeping you sick instead of helping you heal. And this is why when people do find healing inside of the modern medical system, they go and say, oh my gosh, what a miracle! This is fantastic. How in the world does this occur? The reason being because it is an outlier. It is an exception to the rule because people go into this system believing that it's going to help when in reality it's never been and will never, unless something were to change, been a system that is about actually healing you, the whole version of you, and instead has been a system that is designed to keep you inside of it. And I just want to give like an example of this. I actually know somebody, I have somebody in my life who is literally beholden to the system and and to be quite frank, is quite happy to be there. And like they are all totally, completely, 100% okay with being inside of the modern medical mechanism. They want to be there. They want to be taken care of inside of that system. And by taking care of, what I mean by that is they want to always have something wrong with them. So every single time they go into the doctor's office, their doctor runs some tests and then they get a phone call a couple of days to a week later saying this level in your labs that we took is low or high, so you need to come back in. And when they come back in, they're happy to come back in. This person is happy to go back in. And this person goes in and then sees the doctor. So now they're being charged the fee to have a doctor lay eyes on them. And then the doctor says, okay, well, we need to draw these X amount of labs. So now they're getting charged for the extra labs, and then they're going to say, well, based off of the last lab result that we took, we're going to put you on this medication. And this individual is happy to be on this medication. It's not because they need to be on this medication, because some of these levels are levels that shift day to day. So I want to get rid of this idea of like, oh, the doctor, let's give the doctor the benefit of the doubt and say, well, this doctor is only prescribing medications that are actually necessary. No, 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 no. No, that's not the case. And I would be the first person to defend any provider that was actually doing that, but they're not. And like I said, this is a person who's in my life. This is somebody that I know quite well. And I know their medical history and I know their background. And so I can say with 100% certainty that this individual does not need the medications and the extra tests and all of these things that have been continuously prescribed and in like ordered on this person. But this person is completely happy with going in, continuing to get labs, continuing to get put on medicine, and all because they have fallen for the programming that it is better to be sick, it is better to think yourself sick than it is to be a completely healthy individual. And this is something that I am seeing a lot. I am seeing this in my clients and in my students who are coming to me, and I'm saying, you need to understand that you're not sick. I need you to understand that there is something else out there for you. I need you to understand that somebody told you that this is how you have to be in order for you to be quote unquote normal. When in reality, that's just a way to have you beholden to them. This is you being able to give your power, your sovereignty away. And it is asinine. But let me now take you to a slightly different place here because the modern medical system, while it is meant and is working the way it is meant to be working, right? The reason for why the modern medical system doesn't function as it should be intended, right? Like it doesn't run as you come into the system and we heal you. The reason for why it doesn't, and this actually moves us into the reason for why medical intuition is so pivotal. It needs to exist. It needs to be a part of the system is because the medical system, as is, as it stands, does not care about the fact that you are an energetic being. I'm going to use this term very specifically because I need everybody to understand that what I'm talking about here is not one's belief in source, creator, God, whatever it is that you talk about, or whatever it is that you believe in. I am not talking about the spirituality aspect. I am not even talking about whether or not you believe that you are a piece of something greater or a part of the circle of life or, whatever. What I want to be very clear about is that what I am talking about is that we are energetic beings, that we emit a frequency like everything else does. Rock will emit a frequency. A couch will emit a frequency. This is what exists across all things, living or non-living. Okay? Everything emits a frequency. And because of that emittance, what that means is that there is something more to us than just the physical 3D carbon copy, body in which we inhabit. And because of that level of electricity and energy, we have the ability to measure it. We have an ability to quantify it. But on the other hand, on the other side of that, it means that it can get stuck, that it's supposed to flow, that there has to be some meaning that it has for our bodies. Now, in my world and how I express that is that it is coming through the form of emotions. So when we feel something, that is us having a frequency. That is us changing our frequency. When we are able to manipulate that energy and the way it flows inside of our bodies, and how clean that flow is, and how clean the energy itself is, right? How clean the otherwise emotions, right, are, determines then how how our body functions, right? Because if it's flowing cleanly through us, then we're going, it is a fair and logical thing to say that clean and clear flowing energy means a healthy body. And that truly is the assumption that I am working under when I work with clients, when I teach my students. There are caveats to this, obviously, but that's the hypothesis, right? So, in my opinion, okay, and the whole point of this conversation is that because we neglect this aspect of ourselves and of the human body and of all things, really, this is why modern medicine only exists in the form that it exists. It exists only in how do we keep ourselves sick? How do I keep you underneath my power? It's not about how do I heal you, because if it was about how do I heal you, it would be okay, let me learn about the biology, but let me also learn about the energy. Let me also understand all aspects of the human body and the human existence, and actually want to move that needle forward. And this is why medical intuition is so important, because medical intuition looks at that side of the coin. Now, I'm going to say something here that may shock every single one of you. It may shock every single one of you. And that is, medical intuition alone will not ever be enough. It will not ever be enough. And this is why I spent my entire life, it feels like at this point, certainly more than 2 decades, learning about biology and chemistry and physics and the body, the human anatomy and physiology, and how that all works, and why I went into medicine as a career. Not because I believed 100% and blindly that the modern medical complex was capable of doing all of the healing, but because I knew that it couldn't, and I knew it was missing something. But I also knew that if I didn't understand the other side of the coin, that I was not going to be of 100% service to the individuals that I work with and that came to me seeking help and healing. It is 100% the fact that I am an intuitive and understand those skills and abilities and understand how energy works and continue to learn and advance my own understanding of energy just as much as it is a gift for me to understand the physical body and continue to learn about the physical body and continue to watch as the things change and how people are pushing the boundaries of what's possible within modern medicine. It is both halves of these things that is allowing me to be in a space and have a level of expertise that others do not have. Point blank, period, end of sentence. That is legitimately why I'm so good at what I do. When the modern medicine decides to stop pushing away energy understanding, it will revolutionize the entire industry. This is literally what I am put here on this earth to do, is to marry energy work with physical sciences, with the physical medical sciences. There is no reason for us to say we don't need Tylenol, don't ever use Tylenol anymore. There's no reason for us to say, well, don't ever go in to the doctor to get labs drawn. There's no reason for us to say, don't ever go to a surgeon. What we need to be saying is that the Tylenol, the lab work, the imaging, the surgeon, the specialties, they all have their place. But we need to understand that they're only one part of the puzzle, and that we are going to have this very integrative and very, very holistic understanding of health that we are then putting forward. that we are bringing together this understanding of energy work and how we have emotions and how energy can get stuck in our body, and that when energy gets stuck in our body, what can happen is illness, and it can make us a frequency match for illness. It also goes so far as to say we are energetic beings that have been through other incarnations, and those incarnations gave us certain levels of knowledge. And when we came into this particular incarnation, we decided to sit down and say, how do we want to continue to advance consciously? That is no more crazy than saying that there is something called a virus that isn't technically alive but is alive, and it will play parasite to any host and spread its DNA and make a person ill by taking over its body, by taking over the cells inside of that body. There is that to me are those two things are not any crazier than the other. And there are other things inside of the physical world that modern medicine or modern science has brought out, into the light, and has been able to shed light on, saying we didn't know this before and now we do, or we didn't know that this was something that was occurring and now we've observed it. And now we're going to sit here and study it and see if this is the same all the time or if this changes, right? These types of things are no less crazy to me, or no more crazy to me, than me saying that one can astral project into past lives and help heal those past lives, and by healing those past lives, you then release something stuck energetically inside of this current body that was holding you back from finding the love of your life, or finding your purpose in life, or allowing you to make a decision about the purpose in your life, or whatever else it might be. Or like in my case, I'm helping people go back into those past lives and say, if you've got something that needs to be healed, then heal it, so that when you come into your current incarnation, your physical body isn't underneath the burden physically from what was happening then. And some of you may be sitting here going, that no, that one sounds more crazy than the other. But what I would say is, well, just because something sounds crazy doesn't mean that it's wrong. And I think that there needs to be an open-mindedness around expanding what healthcare is, expanding what your specialties are that you're seeking out, and having a level of discernment. I say all of this, and I think what I don't want is people then jumping into just any old, intuitive's office, essentially, or into any old intuitive's world. There are intuitives out there who are not good at what they do. I'm just going to be honest about that. It's not a judgment. What it is that it's a lack of experience. The same way that I have no problem with saying that there are some doctors that are very good at what they do, and there are some doctors that are terrible at what they do. There are some nurses that are very good at what they do, and some nurses that are terrible at what they do. This is not me being judgmental. This is me recognizing that it takes time and it takes experience and it takes working with a variety of different people to allow for you to gain the knowledge and the skills necessary. Now, do I think that like these individuals that are not good at their job, these medical intuitives that are not good at their job, or these healers that aren't good at their job, or I shouldn't say not good, but that lack experience, that we should just be shunning them and we shouldn't be giving them a chance? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the same way that we have residential programs for medical school, that we have fellowships and things like that, I think that we need to go the distance and we need to professionalize things like intuitive medicine, because we have people who were once in tech who now, because they went through something medical for themselves, now believe that this is what they're meant to do. And that might be well true. That like I'm not sitting here saying that one can't change careers, but what I am saying though is that it shouldn't be as easy as just being able to go from working as a software tech person and then saying, well, I no longer want to be in tech. So now because I had this experience, I'm going to go and now I'm going to help other people with their health issues. And you have no no foundation, no background, no degree, no certification, no nothing in physical health and the body and all that. Because, like I said, this is not just, there isn't it's just one side to the coin. It's when you're working with illness and when you're trying to heal illness, you have to understand that you have to go from you have to attack both the physical side of things and the energetic side of things. And this is why I feel so passionately about the fact that we need to revolutionize healthcare. When I say we need to revolutionize healthcare, I do not just mean the medical care system as a system. I am also talking about medical intuition as well. I am talking about those individuals who call themselves healers as energetic healers or light workers or whatever other term that they want to be called, who are working on people's bodies with no understanding of where the pancreas is or where the spleen is or where the appendix is. Like, you cannot just say, well, I'm only going to address the energetic nature of humans. Because the fact of the matter is that we're not just energy, we're a physical body too. And that when we see healers who are acting in such a manner that say, well, all I'm going to look at is the energy, I'm not going to look at the human body, you are just as bad, in my opinion, as the modern medical field. Just as bad. It's not that you're worse, it's just as bad. Because what you're doing is saying, well, I'm only going to look at one side of the coin. And that's exactly what modern medical system is doing. It's only looking at one side. So if you are a part of the medical field or if you find yourself a part of the energy community, I want you, and you believe that you're a healer, you know that that's what you're meant to be doing. I want you to challenge yourself. I want you to challenge yourself and actually say, what part of the coin do I not know? And I want you to go out and I want you to learn about it. I don't want you to rest on your laurels. I don't even want you to care about how many success stories you have had. I don't actually give a shit, to be honest. I don't care if you've helped 100 people, 1,000 people, or 10,000 people. If you are an energy healer, but you know nothing about the human body, even though you've had multiple success stories, go out, get a biology textbook, an anatomy and phys book, and start learning. Or maybe do yourself one better and look at taking a class, an anatomy class at a local community college or something. Get a certification, get a degree. And I'm not saying that these are like necessary. What I am saying is necessary though is the knowledge. Is the knowledge. I don't care about whether or not you end up with a degree or letters behind your name. I could give two shits about that. Because I know that there are people who have worked hands-on in their field and are some of the best at what they do without a certification and without a degree. So that doesn't matter to me, but the knowledge is what matters to me. And if you find yourself as a medical professional and you are like, dude, I know nothing about intuitive knowledge. I know nothing about energy. I know nothing about my own gifts or what is going on with people. I challenge you to go out and learn about it. Go out and learn. Come and talk to me. Come take one of my courses. Come like practice with me, train with me in a one-on-one setting. And learn what you need to be able to actually heal people instead of keeping them beholden to you or sick. Because both things are just tragic, in my opinion. So that is my soapbox for today, y'all. I am really like up on it today. I'm gonna try to climb them down, but I feel like there's so many individuals who are in this space, whether you consider that space to be medicine or intuition or just healing in general across the board. And they are resting on their laurels, acting as if what is will always be and will always be. And I get frustrated. And I guarantee you, I am doing my utmost to get myself in rooms, at tables, in places where people who have the power to actually change things within the medical system can hear exactly this and be willing to say, Abigail, come and teach and train and do the things. That is, help me manifest this, guys. Help me manifest that I'm going to be in these rooms and people are going to say, teach us the other side of the coin. Whether it's a room full of intuitives or whether it's a room full of medical professionals, both of them need me. And both of them need more people like me, people who have a very strong handle on the intuitive knowledge, as well as a strong handle on the anatomy and physiology, on the biology, on the chemistry. This is so, so important. And it comes down to the fact that I just believe that people should have the power and the knowledge to be able to heal themselves when they are sick or when they are injured or when they've got something going on from a disorder perspective. Now, that's not to say that people are not going to continue to get sick. That is not to say that people aren't going to continue to get injured. I'm not trying to stop necessarily like death or illness or injury. What I am trying to do is give people the knowledge to be able to fix it when that stuff happens. Because I'm a realist. I'm a realist who lives in a real world, and I 100% believe that we're going to continue to have things that end up hurting us. We're going to have things that, block our energy. We're going to have things that make it a little bit harder to kind of like move through our world that because we're trying to ascend. I'm okay with us having a world full of germs. I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is being inside of this world of germs with no real way to combat it, to fight this thing that is there to teach us something, right? So, guys, thank you for joining me for this Breath of Life conversations. I thoroughly enjoyed this one, but I also like being in this, like I am on a revolutionary war path. I am all about it. I could talk about this for forever. I could discuss this forever. I'm not going to continue to go on about this, but I wanted you guys to know, and so here we are. Uh, Next week we are going to be you're going to have a lovely conversation with myself and a good friend of mine. She's got an alias, which I absolutely love. She's such a doll, and she's been in the medical field for quite a while now, and we have got some stories. We've got some stories of what it is to be in the medical field as a nurse and what that looks like. And so we wanted to tell some of the stories, and we wanted you guys to hear some of the things that we deal with and some of the things that we see. And it was fun, it was funny. I can't wait for you guys to listen to it. So join us next week for that, and we will see you next time on the next Breath of Life conversations. Bye, y'all.